When you're investing in property, you're dealing in people, and you're dealing in people wanting to own or rent your house.
I think you have to be really careful with investing to take a long-term view to make sure that someone's actually going to want it one day. You know, we talk about sustainability of our business and sustainability of the houses and the products that we use in our houses, but one of the biggest things is sustainability of your investment.
When you're buying a quality house, you should be buying something that's going to last for 100 to 150 years at least. People are building houses now that only last for 40, 50 years.
And people don't realise, I think, a lot of the time what they're buying.
50 years, it's not a very good investment.
What's it going to be like 20 years down the track? Is it a desirable property for people to live in today? Is it going to be a desirable property for people to want to rent in the future? And that's going to stand the test of time. That's still going to look great and not fall to bits.
If you're repulsed by the house, why do you think another human would love it?
A lot of people would say that if you're not living in it, it doesn't matter. That's where the issues with vacancy can come. Tenants are the part of property investing that make it work. What do we want to give to these tenants? If it's something you would look for in a home, I'd suggest that it's something you should probably be looking for with an investment property. It doesn't matter what your yield says you'll be getting. If you've got vacancy in that property, then you're absolutely going to have an appalling yield.
When you're looking at a house to live in, there is definitely an element of falling in love. Most investment advisors will tell you not to buy a house based on emotion.
Yield-based selling may be the way to sell these properties now, but in the future, I'm sure they're actually going to be very difficult to sell. If you've bought a house that looks like everybody else's, who's going to want to buy it in 15 to 20 years?
A lot of people buy properties now purely based on a spreadsheet.
Pure numbers-based investing doesn't work.
You're buying more than just numbers on a spreadsheet. You are actually buying a house that you're going to need someone to love enough to rent from you or love enough to buy from you in the future.
You know, there's a lot of stuff out there really complicating it. Sure, you have to worry about the numbers and you do have to be somewhat sensible about them.
And I'm not saying our houses don't stack up as well on paper as the other houses do, because they actually do. You should be buying the best house that your budget can allow. Good location, nice quiet street, development of 3 or 4 houses, good products like wool carpet, wool insulation, solar panels which save your tenants money, like all of those little things. Even if it is completely an unemotional decision, you should still be buying the best house in its class, because someone along the line will definitely be emotional.
And the other thing I think investors need to think a lot more about is what value do they put on their sleep?
You always want to be in the top, like say, 15-20% of houses that are compared.
You need to be in it for the long term, and part of being in it for the long term is you're going to have to ride the various cycles.
So you certainly don't want to be at the bottom of the townhouse quality ladder.
I think one of the greatest things that investors can give themselves is satisfaction and pride in their ownership of the property that they've purchased. What does this actually mean to people? What are they doing this for? And do you want to own something that's really great where you give another person a really decent home? Or do we want to give people the bare minimum? How can you expect something to be truly successful in the long term if you don't actually believe in it yourself?
If you don't have the best house in its class, you're basically starting on the wrong foot into investment.
It is possible to get all very technical about it, but the actual principles of it are very simple. Buy a well-located property that's well built, that has good aesthetic appeal, and that people are going to want to live in, and you really have a recipe for success.
And it's actually that simple.